November 11th, 1778. A quiet town 2 days' ride north of Richmond, in what would become, in just a few short years, the state of Virginia. A small one-roomed house, a couple of chairs and a table. The front door, the only door, opens into the brisk winter air. It was the wind that made it cold that winter. James, my husband, hunts and traps to keep us in our small home. He leaves every 5th or 6th week to trade for a fortnight before returning home to repeat the process. Lillian, my younger sister, stays with us, as no man has ever gotten close to her. She's a seamstress, one of reasonable talent, and she helps in keeping the property by creating whatever the neighbors need in the ways of fabric. I keep the house clean and warm, tend to the cooking and the garden, and ride every few days into town with Lillian to trade and pick up more fabrics. Our lives are nothing spectacular, but we are warm, safe, and healthy. We had each other. How I wish we could go back to those moments.
I think this is your best hunting season yet.
All thanks to the beaver pelts. They're selling before I can even trap them.
Everyone wants a fur for their honeycomb Christmas, I suppose.
I'm pretty sure all men just want to look like aristocrats.
If I was a man, I wouldn't want to.
Well, if you were a man, you wouldn't need a husband.
Excuse me, I am independent.
But are you a man?
Please don't get her started again. I don't need a man. I have me, myself, and I. I just need my needle and thread. I don't need a man. Do you have everything that you need?
Of course. You worry too much.
I worry because I want you safe.
I'm safe. I know this is about the war, Mary Rose. If you want to talk about that, then it's the men in the nearby towns that you should be concerned for.
They're not you.
Well, I'm going to work, not war. I'll be back in a fortnight. No more.
Promise me something.
Anything.
You'll come back without a uniform.
I promise.
The man just said he's going to work, not war. Leave him be already.
You truly are
The most adoring wife a man could ever dream of.
How do you both take it so lightly? They're drafting men from every town.
And every family. James' brother was already enlisted. James is safe.
We haven't heard news of Charles in weeks.
And that means nothing here. You've heard the stories. Letters sometimes don't come for months at a time.
But aren't you at least a little worried? Doesn't it scare you just a little? They're drafting men 2 towns over.
And it's taken them nearly 3 months to even come this far.
But they're picking up pace. What if they come to our door? What if they come to take James to war?
Well, he's your husband, not mine.
Oh, you truly are a pain.
A pain, a sister, but you still care for me all the same.
I just wish you'd show a little more
Compassion?
concern. I was looking for the word concern. Thank you very much.
I see no difference.
A few days passed, and life continued how it always had. But Mary Rose was right. The fear of the draft quickly found its way into our town. All the while, Lillian reassured Mary Rose it wouldn't touch our home. There was no way that I could be drafted when my family had already sacrificed one son to the war. November 18th, 1778. A knock interrupts the silence of the quiet household one afternoon. A draft notice. My brother, my last living relative, died in battle. That left me. She gave the notice to Mary Rose. My wife was devastated. She quickly lapsed into denial. Lillian could do nothing except bite her tongue and eat the words that she'd been preaching for weeks now. The draft, the war, would never find its way into our house. We would never be touched by that plague.
I've got it. We'd never received the letter.
We need to send word to him, not deny this.
He's not going.
Mary Rose, we can't fight this.
Then he's sick. We could say he's come down with something that leaves him confined to his bed. He had a hunting accident, stepped in his own trap.
And let the people believe that he is that bad of a trapper? They all know how long he's been trapping. They wouldn't believe it.
Then he was attacked, sustained injuries, unable to continue his work.
Listen to yourself. This isn't you.
He is not going.
You are in denial just like every other wife and mother in this town.
But unlike every other wife and mother, I know I can do something about it.
Like do what? Rosie, please don't make this any harder than it is.
This wouldn't be difficult if you would just see what I'm trying to do.
This isn't up for debate anymore. I know I can send the McAllister boy after James in the morning, and that will be that.
You are acting like James is nothing more than another man. He is my husband.
And that doesn't make any difference in this situation. Mary Rose, I beg of you, please just listen to me. There isn't a way out of this. This is what the war has come to. This is what has to happen now, and we don't have the power to change that.
I'll take his place.
Now that's asking to get every single one of us in trouble.
I'm serious. I'll go in his place.
You're not going.
But I just want...
No more crazy plans. Promise me. I'll send for him in the morning at first light. I didn't stay and wait for her promise. I was too enraged at her thoughts of escaping something that's truly inescapable. Once I fell asleep, Mary Rose got up. She took his spare coat, his clothing, and the extra bag. She took her long hair and she tied it back. She made herself look like James as much as she could. I slept through it all. Then she took the letter and noted what she needed before slipping out the front door into the dark. November 25th, 1778. James came home to me alone, not his wife, but me. I didn't have the heart to tell him what she had done. All I could do was hand him the letter that stated that he was to go off to fight. He almost threw it into the fire, but stopped himself. It was our only grip on reality. Because when she left, our worlds changed in more ways than she can imagine. December 16th, 1778. A bleak and cold day. Snow and a thin layer of ice covered the winter wheat. Weeks. She's been gone for 3 weeks. Ugh! For 3 weeks we have been locked in this house together. For 3 weeks I have slaved trying to keep her crops alive and tend to my sowing and going into town to get supplies. I have set the small traps and brought you the rabbits that I could. I have tried to keep us together.
Then let me do some of it. Let me go out and set the traps so that you can...
And let the whole town know that you're not at war when they see you carrying a rabbit back to the house. Have to explain how you came home without abandoning your duty and how my older sister is still sick and I won't call for a doctor. Perhaps she's just pregnant.
No. We just stay here. We wait for a letter or some word. We wait until she contacts us, so
that I can tell her to come home and quit living out this daydream of saving you.
I didn't wish for this, you know. I never wanted Rosie to go off to war. I would have gone, and you know that, Lillian. Do you think this is easy for me? Do you think I don't miss her just as much as you do? My wife is off fighting in a war. That's no place for a woman.
And what is? The kitchen? The garden? How about in this chair sewing away on some uniform for some man down the street so that it will fit his son now that his father is dead?
This isn't about your independence right now, Lillian. We're talking about my wife, who is missing and walking around with my name.
Well, when you have a solution to either finding Mary Rose or fooling our neighbors a little easier, then talk to me. In the meantime, I prefer silence when I sew.
She will come home. She has to come home. She'll realize soon enough that this isn't the solution to an issue that truly has no solution. For now, we'll keep hope.
They fought for days, weeks even. Lillian barely managed to keep up with the work and the harsh reality that they were quickly running low on money. James sat in the house, rereading the letter that had brought the plague into our home. The harsh winter only added to the bitterness that already grew between them. And after so many months away, they heard nothing from me. May 18th, 1779. Lillian stopped looking for the letters. She stopped asking people in town if they had heard from James. When they asked about me, she would brush them off. I wrote them a letter every week, sometimes more, but I never sent it, for fear that if they delivered to our door, James would be there to receive the letter and give away our secret. In the end, it never really mattered what I wrote. It would only bring them pain. November 19th, 1778.
My dearest sister.
My love.
My darlings.
December 25th, 1778.
You have no idea what life is like here now.
Everything has changed, and just feel strongly of
The anger and rage that hangs in the air.
I wish I understood him like you do. I don't think he knows how much this hurts me too.
I'm sorry for hurting you both so much.
April 23rd, 1779.
It seems to never stop raining.
And the garden hasn't produced us much.
As when we were all home together.
I miss the way that we could laugh together and joke.
I miss the sound of your laughter.
October 14th, 1779.
Without you, the house just feels like
A house, and never a home.
But someday I will return home to you. I long for the day that we will once again embrace one another.
I just want to see you both safe and happy once more.
May 28th, 1780.
Once you come home,
I swear I'll come home.
Never leave home again.
I miss you.
July 9th, 1780.
Mr. James Bailey.
On Sunday, May 28th, year of our Lord 1780, your wife,
Mary Rose Bailey, gave her life in battle at Waxhaws.
Mary Rose, was part of the 113 lives claimed from the 3rd Virginia Detachment.
Her remains have been buried here until you can send for them.
Her secrets will die with her.
James Bailey was sent home with
Sustained injuries, unable to continue his duty.
James.
I'll be back in a fortnight. No more.